Hi felters and crafters, I'm Sandy from Lincolnshire Fenn Crafts, and today's tutorial is going to be about how to use your reverse felting needle. You can use a reverse felting needle to create lots of really nice texture, dimension, and just a little bit of fun detail. So it's going to be quite a short video, won't take me too long, but you'll learn some really cool techniques. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with here, I've got a hedgehog that I've already sort of pre-made, but he's without his spikes, and I love doing this. It's a really simple technique. So what we've got in the hedgehog's body here, you can see we've got this brown batting over the whole of his body, and how we've done that is I've got a core of, this is just grey Jacob, and around that I have wrapped the batting. So this is a Jacob or a Shetland batting, I think. So basically all you do with that is, this is so that when we use a reverse felting needle, what's going to happen is we're going to pull out all those grey fibres, so we've got a contrasting colour. So you just wrap the batting around whatever it is you're making, and it won't show any needle marks. It's so easy to felt with, and it's perfect for this job. And then just keep pulling it around, pull off any excess until it's nice and tidy. Pop that to one side. So then what I've done here is I've just added the face and the eyes and the few spikes at the front and the ears. There is actually a full tutorial on how to make this hedgehog, so you can just pop into the video section and find it there. So we want to pull out that wool from the inside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 32 reverse felting needle. Again, with our standard needles, the higher the number, the finer the needle. So I've got two reverse felting needles here. I've got a 40 and a 32, but I want to pull out quite a lot with this one. So I'm going to use the 32, which is a bit more fierce. So what you want to do is hold your project quite firmly, because it does tug. And then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull backwards and forwards, and you can see how that is actually pulling the wool back out, and it's a different colour. And you do this a lot, just keep going, and you'll get some gathered on your needle as well. That's fine, just pull that off, and then you just continue to pull, and it all looks very messy at the moment, but I'll show you what I do. There we go. So I've pulled quite a few strands of wool out there, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of loose wool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take little bits of this pieces of this wool, and I'm just going to pull with the grey and the brown, and I'm just going to twist with my fingers. Can you see how I've created a spike there? So just continue all the way around, and what we'll do is any excess wool, any messy wool, we'll just trim off. Can you see how those spikes are now starting to show? And it's such a great way of creating spikes. I know you can get that material or the wool where it actually looks like real hedgehog spikes, but I actually really like this, because you just, you know, you're working with what you've got, because you know you have to sort of find the stuff and order it, but this is something you can just do with the wool that you've actually got in your craft box. And it's such a simple technique. So can you see how that now has created this really cool sort of spiky effect? And you can tidy it up. You can leave it, you know, quite messy. I tend to quite like that look. But that's basically how you create your spikes, and it's all about the twizzle. So get that twizzling in between your fingers and just keep going over it. There we go. Which I think looks great. So that's how you would do your spikes on your hedgehog. And then another one that you may want to try is, I've got a hare here, I've got a moon gazing hare, and what I want to do is I just want to fluff up his head here. So for this one, I'm actually going to use a 40 reverse felting needle, which is finer. You can see it's got more flexibility. The finer the needle, the more flexibility it's got. That's the 32, as you can see, and then that's the 40, which obviously is clearly much more bendy. So I'm going for a more subtle approach here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, no, I don't think that's actually the 40. Just bear with me 1 second. I just grab my 40 triangular. So here we have got the 40 reverse here. It was actually a 40 triangle that I had and not the reverse. That's why it wasn't working. So pop it through the top of the head there, and I'm just going to create this area here with a little bit of fluffiness. So just pull that out, and again it's pulling the wool out, but it's got a more subtle feel to it. And can you see that? Put that on there. You can see these hairs here. So it's just a really nice subtle touch. And you can go in and be quite forceful. But because it's finer, it's not pulling out quite so much, so it's more, it's just a really nice sort of subtle effect. There you go, you can see that there now. And then with the pig that I have here, again I did the same as I did with the hedgehog, so I've got a grey core wool, it isn't Jacob but it's a coarse wool, and I've got the eggshell batting that covers the whole body. So again, I'll go back to my 32, which is a bit more fierce. Push right into the body, and as you can see, that grey wool's pulling out. And I like this because a lot of pigs, you see, they've got that really nice light colour, and then they've got the dark grey hairs, you know, quite wiry coming out. So that's why I think it works really well with the pig. And then if it's too much, you can just trim it off. That's the fine one. Go back to the 32 again. So you can see the difference. So that's the 32, which is the really coarse needle. And then that's the 40 reverse, which is not quite as fierce. So again, you can see how you're creating those lovely sort of wiry hair effect that you would see on a lot of pigs. And then finally, I have here, these are from this is from my latest kit actually. This is the new needle felting kit that's out. This is the penguin, Percy penguin. And what I've done here, I've done the same on his head. So I've reverse felted the white of his head, which has now come up through the top of his head, so you can see that sort of cute little detail. And that's a 40 reverse that I use, and that's actually, you get that in the kit. If you've got the kit, you'll have that in there anyway. So I'll just quickly show you how this works. Again, so here's a penguin. It's not quite complete, but again, you can just pull that out, and we all know that baby penguins are nice and fluffy, so this is perfect for this project. So you can see all that coming out now. And then if you really wanted to go for the full-on fluff effect, like I've done with this one, then you can go all over the head, and you can also go all over the body as well. So you can pull some of that white core out just to create that nice fluffy top layer. And it doesn't want to be overly done, just a nice subtle effect, so you can see that there. So that's how you use a reverse felting needle. That's how I like to use a reverse felting needle. So hopefully that helped, and thanks for popping by.